Yo, what's good, okay? This is Okay Wasabi from Fosodas 1435, the hoodie skinny niggas die. And it will multiply with the clouds too close to the ground so we all to the sky. And I'm not alone. I'm actually with
Sibum Banza, Mr. Fresh Fade, no Banza.
And you're watching another episode of Arcade Updates. Today we're doing things a little different.
Yeah.
We're having a discussion actually.
We are.
We got a lot of tweets from you guys saying, let's talk about the Huawei thing. What's going on with Huawei, USA and China. So I told Sibu, okay, Sibu, instead of doing it like the normal way, we just provide the facts and stuff like that. Let's just go through it together and try to understand what's going on. Because I personally feel like there's so much to this case that's going on in the United States and China. It's a big deal, guys.
It's a lot.
It's catastrophe. It's what they call it.
I have never heard George use the word catastrophe.
It's catastrophe, guys.
Wow.
It can affect Sonke.
Four syllable words. Okay.
It will affect all of us. So let's start talking about this thing, guys. It's USA versus China.
Yeah.
That's basically the premise. That's not the premise. That's definitely the premise of this thing. So I'm just gonna talk to you guys, talk to Sibu, and just try to go through. I have my notepad here.
He has notes, guys, because he's here to teach me. I won't even lie to you. I'm struggling quite a bit with this because I think one of the main issues is the fact that the news is happening so quickly.
It is.
While we're filming this video, between the day we film and we upload and you watch, could be told like the whole story could change. So I think I'm struggling with it. So. At the same time, George is kind of teaching me too. So I'm here to listen. You're here to listen. Let's listen together.
So I'm not saying I'm a professor on this thing.
No shame, no.
I've been researching and just watching people talk about it, reading articles, and just summing it up because this has been happening for a while, guys. Yeah. So basically, there's a top heading, guys. At the top heading, it's USA versus China, right? USA, right? USA versus China. Underline it, sharp. Then there's 3 subheadings. Yeah. Put the subheading, Sibu, like 1, 2, 3.
Got you.
At the highest subheading, we start with the trade war between America and China. Yeah. Right? There's been an ongoing trade war for a couple of months or years right now between America and China. I'm not going to go into deep on why the trade war started, but it's basically the stuff that they trade to each other. There's been a breakdown of those relationships that were formed long time ago, like in the 80s, 70s. There's starting to be a deterioration of those bonds formed in the trade between China and America.
Because there's always been like a trade issue between the two countries.
Yes.
But I think it's been held on, and because it's a big political thing, like everybody's been civil.
Yes.
Like more or less as civil as America and China can be. But then come in 2017, comes in a man called Donald Trump.
And Donald Trump, guys, doesn't play games. And that's what this thing needed to get fire. Because already it was just a couple of votes and trying to ignite the fire. It was Donald Trump just said paraffin. And matches, Donald Trump just, so basically, guys, trade war, right? Between America and China, trading stuff like electronic components for computers, though. So like semiconductors, things that you might use in cell phones and computers and stuff like that. There was an already 15% tariff, a tax, right? That was normal. It's been on there for years and stuff like that. Donald Trump, one of the first significant moves that he did in this trade war that's been happening, he signed a bill that increased the tariffs by 10%. Yeah. So now the tariff on electronic components is going to be 25%. Yeah. For me, that's when it started to catch my attention. Because the reason why it caught my attention first is because I heard now stuff like iPhones will be more expensive. Other electronic components like laptops and stuff like that are going to be more expensive. Either the business is going to swallow the costs and just not raise their prices, which is what I know Apple wouldn't.
It wouldn't make sense.
No.
Yeah.
So phones are going to increase. That's what caught my attention when I heard the tariff news. Sharp. The tariff is hard on China, because the reason why it's hard on China because now maybe American companies will say, hey, let's look somewhere else for these components that we usually buy from China. Yeah. So it was a bad deal for everyone. It was a bad deal for everyone. For China, for American companies who are going to need to increase the price of their products. So that's where the first thing hit. The second thing, guys, is that over here we have a 5G race, right? Everyone is trying to get to 5G first. Yeah. America wants to get to there first. China wants to get there first. And this is where Huawei comes in, guys. because Huawei doesn't only make phones, the P30 Pro, and Huawei also is a telecommunications company. They make cell phone towers, they make routers, they make so much things. It's a technology company. So Huawei is actually really close to figuring out, unlocking 5G. And we've spoken about 5G in this channel because we've said the implications of 5G are so huge. Doctors can do operations in another country real time. You can download a 2 gig movie in 3 seconds.
Very
quickly. So everything is going to be connected to each other, guys. You're going to control your fridge from work while you're at home, and it's going to happen real time, instantaneously. So that's how quick 5G is. It's going to make it a city of the future. It's going to make countries of the future, basically. So apparently, once 5G is created, whichever country gets to 5G first will get like a $500 billion boost to their gross domestic product. Their economy is going to get a $500 million boost. Jobs are going to be created and stuff like that. It's a really big deal. Whoever gets to 5G, that's why it's such a race. And if Huawei is at 90% or 80% at this race, they're doing the third lap. America is only on its first lap, or at 20 or 30%. So now America is trying to do their own 5G, but they're way behind because Huawei and other companies in China are doing really great on that platform. They are going forward.
And America won the 4G race.
Exactly. America was the first nation to start to get 4G, and they got like $100 billion injection into their economy, and it was dope, and stuff like that. But now China is developing quicker, and obviously China is a tech central company. Tech, like it's China.
It's the hub.
It's the hub, basically. So they are so close to 5G, and America is pedaling behind. So. But still sticking on networks and stuff like that, Sibu. Did you guys know Huawei phones weren't sold in America?
I actually found that out recently also. I didn't know about that until I saw some YouTuber talking about how they had to go get a Huawei from China.
Exactly.
And I was like, in the whole America, you can't find it.
That's what. So the reason why I'm saying it's still network stuff is because American agencies like our CIA, our FBI, their version of Scorpion, have been on this case saying Huawei is using their phones or their telecommunications technology to spy on the Americans. They've been saying that. There hasn't been any proof for that, but that's the song that they've been singing that's their gospel. Hey, Huawei is trying to spy on us, China's trying to spy on us. And the thing is, there's also I don't know if there's rumors or they are confirmed that sometimes the Chinese government and Huawei are together like this. Sometimes the Chinese government subsidizes Huawei. So Americans think Huawei is a Chinese government company. America is afraid of the Chinese government. So they think Huawei is going to spy on us using their phones or using their cell phone towers. So we don't want that. And also, they think if Huawei finally gets to 5G, they want to use that internet, that network, to spy on us even worse. Or they'll use it against us and say, when they're angry at us, just switch off the internet. Exactly. So we said tariff, number 1, right? Number 2 is the 5G race and network and spying and stuff like that. Number 3, in general, I think this is my entry and just my position, my position on this war and stuff like that, like my opinion, is that America doesn't like that Huawei has just overtaken Apple on the highest selling cell phone
brand. They're taking over.
It was Samsung, Apple, and then Huawei. But now recently, a few months ago, Huawei just overtook them. So now the number 1 selling company in the world is the South Korean company, Samsung. Number 2 is Chinese. And then only number 3 is Apple. So I don't think they really like that. So that's just even more paraffin to the fire. So combine all of those factors and factors that might be happening behind the scenes that I might not be even listing here. All those things come together like this, and they just set off the explosion, the mini explosion. That it's an explosion, still an explosion. That is Huawei ending up on the ban list of American companies. So what does this all mean, Sibu? It means now, recently, Huawei just got added on companies that are forbidden to work with American companies.
Yeah, they called it a entity list.
Yes.
If you're on the entity list, it means that you are not allowed to work as a business in America and with Americans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what Trump is basically trying to do effectively here is trying to cripple Huawei. Because here's how you're crippling Huawei. Huawei's parts inside the phone, I don't know how much of a percentage there are, maybe 60%. 60% of the components found in a Huawei phone, this number could be wrong, are made by American companies.
Yeah.
So I remember on an episode of Arcade, we mentioned Gorilla Glass.
Yes.
Gorilla Glass is the reason why. Remember my phone was Dala, guys used to have plastics on the screen or the back. Now phones are glass.
Yeah.
And the glass is pretty strong because you can drop your phone on the first and the second time, and sometimes it won't break, but on the third time it might break.
Yeah.
That's what Gorilla Glass is. Gorilla Glass keeps trying to make the strongest glasses for phones, strictly for phones. It always says, hey, we just released Gorilla Glass 5.
Yeah.
We just released Gorilla Glass 6. So they even have a naming scheme and everything for like that. And then Qualcomm, from another American company, makes chips for phones.
Yeah.
Sharp. So all of those things are things that are very important for a cellular device, stuff like that. Another important thing is the operating system. Google, American company, owns Android, which is Huawei's OS. So Trump signing the executive order saying, Guti, American companies are not allowed to work with Chinese companies like Huawei, means Google can't give Huawei the OS, on Android. Qualcomm can't give AMA chips. Flash memory, like RAM and stuff like that, is made in America. They can't get that. Gorilla Glass for the screens and the backs, they can't get that. So what is Huawei left with?
Zaga. Next. Nothing.
What is Huawei left with to make their phone?
Nothing.
I mean, Huawei is going to lose out on a lot. Because they've made apparently they've spent billions pouring into the American economy because why? They buy American goods.
Exactly.
So Trump is also cutting that off, which is kind of weird.
And I feel like the thing is, China is smart enough to create their own OS, but they just haven't been, because they've been focusing on other things. And if Android works already and so many people are using Android, what's the use of creating another OS?
Exactly. So I feel like, here's the thing. Also, what Americans don't see, American government doesn't see, this will have a disastrous effect on them too.
100%.
Because imagine if Apple, I feel like in my heart, Apple can't make full iPhones without China.
No ways. They can't.
That's where they get their labor from. That's how their iPhones are assembled, and like it's tough because now if even Apple loses the Chinese market to sell to them, that's a huge chunk out of their whole. And Apple is already losing money at a steady rate because people are keeping their iPhones longer.
Yes.
I've had my 6S for 3 or 2 years right now, and
I've had my 7 for 2 years.
And you haven't felt the need to upgrade because. So if you're losing even more people who are buying phones, and China's huge, that's a huge gap they're gonna lose. American companies like Apple are going to suffer. Qualcomm is gonna suffer because Qualcomm was getting billions for the chips. Gorilla Glass is gonna suffer because it was getting billions for the screens for the Huawei phones. So they're basically also shooting themselves in the foot, guys. So but also Huawei is suffering hard because Huawei is making competition to MacBook Airs. Just laptops in general.
They're creating their own.
They're creating their own laptops, and laptops need what? Windows. GeForce cards by Nvidia is an American company. So everyone is just getting gribat now. It's just punches to the gut. It's just left, right, left, right. So at the end of it all, this is basically a race of who's going to fold first. It's a game of poker right now. Donald Trump just say, take 10 for your silly mistake.
Take 10.
That's what.
That's how we play poker here, guys.
Donald Trump just said, take 10 for your silly mistake. The thing is, China right now is angry. Trust me and trust it. China is angry. Apparently, there's people who are breaking their iPhones in China already and stuff like that, and just buying Huawei, and stock in Apple in China is already dropping. It's already dropping. That's already happening. So it is a war. It's a 2019 war. Back in the day, we would have solved this with guns and fists and stuff like that. Today, we're solving it with internet fights and...
We literally are. It's the Cold War that is the internet. It's like the war of... Well, not the war, but the fact that we're all trying to get to space. But right now, we're just trying to get 5G.
Exactly. Yeah. So, see, what can Huawei do? Huawei can buy their components from somebody else. Buy glass from somebody else.
Yeah.
Make their own operating system. But... it's too late in the game now.
It's too late. What they have already obviously works. Everything they are doing now works. There's nothing that Huawei is getting wrong.
Exactly.
Everything about their phones works. There are certain components that Apple does better, Samsung does better, but I think holistically, as a mobile phone creating company, they have everything on lock.
Exactly.
So for them to now have to stop doing what they've been doing and find alternative ways to do it, I feel is absolutely ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the news says Huawei's been working on an OS since 2017 because they knew this was going to happen.
It was coming.
Yeah, 2012. Yeah. I think 2012 even they've been working on an OS, but Huawei makes its OS, makes its operating system. They make Huawei Play Store. Yeah. Where you can download apps. You go to that Play Store, when as a South African, you can't find WhatsApp because WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, an American company. You can't find Spotify. So many apps that you won't find on this Huawei Play Store. Yeah. So is it viable for a South African, for an Australian, for someone from the UK to get a Huawei phone with a Huawei OS? Even though we are such fans, or you're a fan of a Huawei phone, is the OS going to work in outside of China? Because they don't really care or use these apps. Yeah. In China, they use WeChat, and that's fine. That's a Tencent company. Tencent is China. Yeah. So it's bad.
That's the thing. Yeah. So people in China, worst case scenario, people in China will be able to survive because most of the time they're not using the same apps we are.
Sure.
I remember when I was in China, it was a complete mess. I didn't know how to use anything technologically because it's all theirs.
Yes.
But then here in South Africa, everything we use is American, more often than not, in terms of the App Store, in terms of just things that we've used that are developed, they're from America.
Sure.
So if America is not allowed to help Huawei phones that we use, can we even use those phones? Is it even worth it for me to imagine I have to use what is it called? Imagine I have to use a VPN every time I want to go on YouTube, every time I want to upload a video, every time I want to go live from my phone on YouTube, I have to use a VPN. It's I don't think it's particularly viable. We don't know what's going to happen now. Like we said in the beginning, things change so often that it's even difficult to say what this means for South Africans, because it changes so often. We could say that it means A, B, and C right now, and then tomorrow it means something completely different. But right now, I don't think anybody can straight away tell you what it means for South Africans. I don't think somebody can give you an honest answer that's going to stick. But worst case scenario, your next Huawei is not going to be anything like the Huawei you have now. And the Huawei you have now, the software is not going to change. You're not going to get the next level of Android when that comes out, because Android can't supply that to people with Huawei phones. If you have a Samsung phone, you will be able to use that Android, but any other phone, I'm so sorry. Well, if with Huawei, you just won't be able to. Yeah.
It's tough, guys. And I feel like, see, this is just right now, it's just a game of who's going to fold first.
Yeah.
I know Huawei just has been given a 90-day license to still continue using Android and work with Google, because they want to smooth over the process of losing those updates. So from now until August, your Huawei's phone is going to get the updates that it needs to perform gashi and stuff like that. But what then after August? And we're hoping before August gets here, Trump and China just shake hands and say never mind.
Which is almost impossible. I'm excited because at the end of the day, and I'm sorry to swear, it's what is called a dick swinging contest. Everybody's just trying to see whose is bigger, and it's like what you said earlier, everybody's playing chicken. So literally it's America versus China, and they're in their cars going 120 Ks at each other, and they're hoping one decides to just cave and just let it go. But that's not going to happen because they're two superpowers of the world.
Exactly.
So we'll just have to see what happens.
And the people who are suffering are who? The passengers inside.
Exactly.
So it's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
If I'm a driver, maybe I'm still gonna be fine, but the passengers
we're not going to survive, guys. We're not going to survive. It's going to be a whole mess. Please leave comments below. If you have any more, if you heard something and something came to your mind and you want to leave it in the comments, please do. We love the engagement. If you have new facts after this video has come out, please leave them in the comments below. We always appreciate your engagement. We always appreciate you guys fact checking too. It's really, really good. That's it for this episode of Arcade. Thank you guys so much for tagging us on Twitter and on Instagram. It means you're engaging with us. We want to be those people where if you guys want to understand something about tech, something about gaming, you tweet us, you let us know what's up, and then we'll talk about it later. I hope this video has been informative. I feel like I've learned a lot. I think you've learned a lot even while you've been teaching at the same time. But other than that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. My name is Simon Panza, Mr. Fresh Fade Nombandla. I wasn't here alone. I was with...
Okay, what's up? From Fosolas 1475, the hoodest cleaning is dying to the multiplier of the clouds too close with grants also sky.
And you're watching the Arcade Update. We'll see you next week with another video.